in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my OG, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my OG, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my OG, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my OG, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my OG, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my OG, got me locked in on cup though.
Everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Pinner. All the lights are currently lit here on track. And it is go, go, go!
Contact between the Mercedes teammates.
Denoso with a crafty maneuver up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Magnussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion. It's PSGL, it's PCF2, and welcome back once again to the channel. Welcome to everyone, whether you're joining us from one of our other tiers on the likes of, for example, F3, that will be sort of soon coming to its end, or you're joining us for the first time, or a seasoned veteran. Welcome to the show. Now, we're here for round 9, we're here for Belgium, and for quite an exciting season 37 championship. I am joined, as always, by Omi in the commentary box. How you doing, my friend? I'm excited to see what these final few races, as we get to the final third of the season, are going to be cooking up.
Cannot wait to see as well. We arrive at a very extraordinary circuit, which is steeped with motor racing memories everywhere. And it should be, we should be adding some more as well on this circuit today in PSGL PCF2. Every race is delivered this season, and that Mexico finish was absolutely wild. Hoping for some same here today again as well. And we, of course, do have the run down to the bus stop chicane right on the final lap, so we can see races won as well with a drag race to the line.
Yeah, and it is going to be... That is going to be the theme and the name of the game tonight. Of course, we have the standings here. We'll take a brief look at them before we head out trackside. So that is going to be after round 8. You see Klappenbach leads 71 points, Stevens 47, and then Crozen with 46 to the top 3 spots. 44 points for Jan Halliday, and then Taika Hardy, Benzoni, Lund, Lekomsky, Alves, and Hjelten make that top 10. You can see the rest of the timings on the screen in terms of standings, but we have got much to discuss. But that will have to wait and to come after, because, ladies and gentlemen, we are already going to go trackside. We have quite the situation going on here. We are already going to be jumping in to our racing and to... First out on the field and the furthest ahead is going to be Kamil Stachura, once again running the F1 World Cars, but with a striking deep red and gold livery. I'll say, points for style.
Great to see, of course, what these drivers come up with every single week. Down to the first corner, Les Source we go, and then it's going to be the run all the way up the hill, through a Rouge, into Radion, and then down the Kemmel straight towards Lecom. So quite a bit of straight line. Then you get to the technical part of the lap, the middle sector, and then a bit more foot to the floor all the way till the last braking zone, the bus stop chicane, which we've already talked about so far. And that is going to be a good opportunity if you are trying to outbrake your rival as well, if you do get stuck in DRS trains. But no drivers want to be in that position. They want to have the best qualifying. They want to get the 1 point for pole, which is available as well.
Yeah, and as we come into the second sector now, you can see down to Rivage, it's going to be a bit of a technical romp. We're seeing a lot of scrubbing of speed and a little bit of scrubbing on those tyres happening, as the drivers are going to give it 110%. I think Stachura is the type of driver to give it their all early on, see where the limits are, and then slowly dial into a happy medium. But very clean down through Puon into the next set of corners. Tight right, then left, then right again. It's almost like a roller coaster the way you have to poise your car perfectly, set your line, and then commit. Now into the third sector, looking clean for Statera, 13.1 at the end of Sector 2. So they'll have a good starting point with which they can build from. Now down into Blanchimont before the final bus stop chicane and a jump on the brakes. You can take this pretty much flat with some good timing and good positioning, as well as having just about enough aero to make it work. Through the chicane now, hops across the curbs, a little bit of the sausage as they take the final corner and then power out as quickly as possible to the line. 40.6 from Statera. Let's see what the rest of this field can muster as we now have cars coming through. Benzoni, 0.731, is going to go down the second row. It's going to be Crozen with a 0.436 there as Godendorp goes 7 flat. Jan Halliday 0.578 and many more cars now joining the field. Top 8 a 0.802. 41 from Kjeldsen as many other cars are going to be making their way through. We see another car and a name that some might recognize coming up to the line. It's Cartalundi, as they unfortunately looks like they had an invalidation there. Bit of a blow to the confidence, and looks like it was in the final stages of the lap 2.
Final stages, as you mentioned, but great to see Cartalundi back here as well, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on today. Julian Klaffenburg then bringing it to the end of the lap. Championship leader has got a 24-point advantage, but in PSGL you can never get comfortable no matter what advantage you have until you have won the championship. P15 right now at the moment, and he'll definitely be trying to build up on that throughout the 13 minutes of qualifying that do remain. But it's Crozen currently ahead of Molnar. Jan Halliday, the top 3 at the moment, with Camel Statra in P4. 3 times Camel Statra has been in the points, looking to make it 4 today as Leoland completes the top 5. And we're watching Riley McKay right now.
An impressive push. Mackay, unfortunately, being one of the 2 cars alongside Lundy to invalidate their initial lap. So they are going to be wheeling their car back into the pits for another go. And I'm looking at some of the times here. We've got the spread of about a second, which for initial runs is to be expected. Drivers are finding the limits. They're understanding where the field is going to be having their advantages and disadvantages, and then they're seeing where they can push their specific setup of the car. Some highlights. Benzoni is going to be the king of the first sector, 30.499. Very impressive from the almost Kick Sauber-styled Shark car here. Then Sector 2 is going to be owned by Jan Halliday, 42.314. Just a couple of milliseconds clear of some of the other drivers on this field, but Andre Molnar is going to take Sector 3 with a 27.440. Just under half of a tenth faster than current pole position holder Joris Crozen. So the times are still up on the board. Theoretical best is a 40.2 at this point in time.
Yep, and we're going to see the improvement. We're going to get the improvement from all of these drivers. So excited to see how they are going to get on throughout this session. Good to get a banker lap on for you to improve on all the way throughout this session. With the track, of course, also ramping up. Huge circuit, this the longest on the calendar, meaning lots of room for improvement for the 20 in the field right now. Klaffenbach, the last car to bring it back to the pit lane, and then we'll bolt on a new set of soft tyres. We'll go again. We'll try push and get back to the top 10 for the driver who's only been outside the points on 2 occasions in Spain and also at Suzuka. 2 races which had quite a bit of drama, as the rest of them, now all of them, in the pit lane. 18 lap times on the board. Cartalundi, Riley McKay still trying to get a lap time on the board after their invalidations. Kian Godendorp, though, already looking to try and get run 2 going in this qualifying session. Of course, not a lot of time to waste in this session. Longest lap of the season, meaning the out laps are longer. Also the push lap is longer as well, so it means that you have a limited amount of time to get the laps in compared to what you would have at different circuits.
Well, it's why it's paramount that they need to get out there fast and they need to maximise every second of this qualifying session. When you combine that with the fact that these drivers don't have to consider their tyres they're using quality, well, yeah, say we've got some quality laps, but in terms of quali tyre usage, they don't have to worry because of the lobby restart. We have to restart because of the slipstream avoidance settings, turning off collisions. And that means that they have extra allocation. They don't have to panic about burning every single set of softs that they have at their disposal. They can push, give it 110%, get as many clean, fresh tyre runs as they possibly can, And with a track like this, where laps are 140 and ranging from 150 to 2 minutes for an outlap, where you really commit to warming your tyres and getting it into that operating window, every second counts and every tyre counts.
Absolutely. It is always critical around this circuit, especially if you are going to get an invalidation, which 2 drivers have already found. Kian Gordendorp about to get back going then. A 1 minute 40.7 is what he's managed so far. Let's see where he can get up the order. It's very close with the margins to 6th, to 5th and to 4th as well, and even to 3rd position and 2nd. That's how close PSGL qualifying is, so a small improvement could jump you up a couple of places as he's about to take the challenge of Rouge and Radion, one of the most iconic corners in all of motor racing. And then it's foot to the floor all the way down to Lecom DRS Open all the way as well, and then we'll get an idea of how the first sector is looking like. Is it an improvement? Is it a little bit down compared to what he's already managed? It's an improvement by a 1/10 of a second.
Yep, good initial pushes from Godendorf, because they can potentially put themselves in the 0.5s, which would get them potentially on the second or top row with some really good runs. A little bit of scrubbing of speed as we head down the hill, and then as we make our way to Puon, you can see a little bit of skittishness from the car, but well controlled by Kian through here. Into Puon, it remains committed, a little bit of release from the throttle as they let the car naturally ride out to the outside of the circuit. Nicely done there. A little bit of curbing, but careful not to unsettle and upset the balance as we head through this tight section. Very cleanly done for Godendorp, and it's a 1/10.5 as we head into Sector 3.
Ian Gordendorp trying to bounce back after the disappointment of P17 in Mexico City last time out. Let's see if he can hit the front of the field now. Everyone will get the chance to respond as well, but can he initially go into first position, bringing it down to the bus stop chicane? You do not want to run wide. You've done the entire lap, and now it's going to be foot to the floor all the way to the line, and you'll be able to see what effort he has managed. Kian Gordendorp going for the line, and he's down, so he lost it in the final sector, not what he wanted, and that will leave himself vulnerable to drivers improving behind as well.
It all dropped in that final sector. Late break into the bus stop chicane, upset his line, tried to get on the throttle too early, and by the end it was a 0.8, which did not constitute an improvement on his time. Other drivers, though, are looking to be making a bit of a statement. Molnar comes through, unfortunately, just a couple of milliseconds shy. What's the rest of the field going to do? Stevens did make a run, but unfortunately is not going to be the improvement that they so desperately sought. Jan Halliday, another driver that we are here to watch eagerly with anticipation. The championship effort still going very much strong as we head into the final sector, diving on that brakes a little bit earlier on the turn-in relative to the rivals, but just so they can push out and get that early jump onto the throttle. Fortunately, not quite enough there. It is going to be a 100th of a second down for Halliday right now, but it's still consistency, and that is going to prove key to the race. As many other drivers now come through, Benzoni is going to be giving it 100%. Diotensio is going to go second on the field, 0.541, 4 milliseconds clear of Andre Molnar. Benzoni is going to see if they can respond, 0.7 currently, and they are going to go on the second row. It's absolutely caked in green. First and second rows, second through fourth, split by 4 milliseconds.
From last time out, trying to continue it this time around as well here at Spa. Benzoni into 3rd position. Let's see what Julian Klavenbach can do. It was P15 on run 1. What about run 2 for our championship leader who makes his way out of the final corner? It seems like a good lap so far. Has he been able to keep it that way? It's an improvement by 3.5 of a second, but still not where he would want to be. That is currently P11, and would leave him with a lot of work to do in the 22 laps of Spa that is going to be coming our way as well in the race. But it seems like Klaffenbach taking a little bit more time to dial in at this stage. Sergio Sabrino, the driver currently in P13, and our reserve driver, of course, making their way down to Blanchimont now.
Yeah, so a lot of the drivers now, of course, having completed the next major runs, they are on the cool-down laps. They're jumping back into the pits, and they need to time this effectively. Now, I would suspect drivers are going to be heading out very soon, but with the way that the time is left, this will leave drivers with a bit of a quandary, or potentially a bit of a backup option depending on how hard they burnt those tyres. If they compromise this next lap early, they could conserve those compounds as much as they can, and then potentially have a last charge through the line with a little bit of fuel burn. But we're not seeing fuel burn be as effective a strategy as in previous years, just because, if nothing else, the cars are a lot more susceptible to high degradation, and that degradation has much more aggressive of a fall-off track to track.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, Felipe Sousa, F4 champion, of course, from last season, bypassing F3 due to his efforts in that F4 campaign. And then, of course, also with his laps that he was setting in the sign-ups for Felipe Sousa. Not been the season that he would have wanted so far, though. Hasn't stood on the podium. And currently, we are the driver in 17th, got his first podium last time out. Liam Stevens, second in the championship. We're gonna go through the championship, of course, after this session in more detail. But Liam Stevens, as we mentioned last time, has scored points in every single race bar the opening round, and he was finally able to take his first podium of the season last time out by finishing third in Mexico. Well, could have been the victory with how that last lap went as well. It could have gone anyway in that final lap. Klaffenburg also just missing out, and it was the day for Riccardo Benzoni, who took his second victory of the season and also became our second repeat winner of the year. Trying to be a repeat pole sitter, though, is Crozen. He's taken 3 poles so far this season. He's the only repeat pole sitter. Let's see whether Crozen can make it 4 right now as Tope heads onto the circuit. The first car then to begin our final run to decide who's taking the 1 point for pole.
Yeah, now everyone is going to be going out for that final run, and while they don't have to worry necessarily about on-track traffic, the collisions are off, keep in mind, they will still have to worry about them purely for the sake of distractions, if nothing else. You want a clear track in front of you, you want to be unencumbered when you go for your times, and it does have an effect. Seeing another car on track, of course, being race experienced, they're going to instinctively move out the way. Keep in mind, collisions being turned off is only a stopgap solution that we introduced for this year's game, just owing to the fact that the slipstream is far too strong and presents an unfair quality advantage. They are going to get thrown off by other cars around them, so Tope's taken the, I think, rational approach here, trying to get out early and make sure that they don't have to contend with any on-track shenanigans, but too early, and they could serve themselves to be in a bit of trouble, as there are still cars exiting the pit as we speak. We still have Cohen, Kjeldsen, Klaffenbach, and Diotencio in the pit lane, and while they are making their way out, it's going to be close, considering they're going to be on their outlaps.
It is going to be close. They're not going to be pushing at the max as well, but the driver's just leaving the pit lane. Will be beginning their lap time, of course, with seconds to go as well. Tope, though, leaving plenty of time. Here is Carter Lundy. I'm sure a lot of the chat is going to be supporting him on today. We're all going to be hoping that he does have a very good race. Right now down in 20th with no time, but that can still change. They're all still battling in that mid-pack. They're going to want to create some gaps and want to have a clean road like Tope has as they go down to Les Source as well, and going to be wanting to get on the power very late on the brakes for Tope as they try to find an improvement.
It's half a second between P1 and P19. By the time you've turned your head to watch these F1 cars go flying by, that's the entire grid spread for you. Tope is going to be making quick work of Sector 1 here, down into Kemmel Straight, easily surpassing 200 miles an hour before jumping on the brakes just ahead of the 50-meter board, really riding that traction and using the car's front-heavy aero balance to guide it through. A little bit slow on the first sector, not quite getting the improvement that they so desperately sought, and with a .636 Sector 1, they are about a tenth behind current sector owner, Leo Lund. So .569 was the time to beat. They haven't quite got that yet, but let's see if they can recover through the rest of the course. It's going to be a very clean and very nice pull-on going through there. And as we come to the next half of the track, a little bit of wobble, a little bit of worry maybe coming from Tope there. Maybe the nerves of trying to get to that top 10 are starting to strike through. Though 2 tenths up, it's a positive sign.
Positive sign for Tope, hoping that the bus stop chicane does go their way as well. 20 seconds to go on the clock here at Spa, and Tope is going to be the first one to come across the line. Angelo, the man in second currently, has just began their last lap now in this qualifying session. Tope, though, brings it to the bus stop chicane. aiming for that top 10. Let's see whether Tope can find it. DRS open, going for the line, has been able to get it to 8th. Brilliant stuff from Tope. Looking further back, Kian Godendorp onto pole position for the moment. Kian Godendorp has been there once so far this season, looking to make it 2 right now, as Cartalundi has invalidated and will be starting at the back. Camel Stoutra also trying to find an improvement. He's also been on pole so far once this season. Let's see whether Camel Stoutra can do it. Only 3rd for Camel Stoutra, as Lukomski's about to come over the line. 64 thousandths up when he cut the beam for the 2nd sector. Now in the 3rd sector, when you add it all up, it's good enough for P4.
Very impressive runs coming from this field so far, and many more to make their way through. We've got so many drivers who are rushing for that final chance to take a spot here. And as we have more cars now coming up to the field, unfortunately a little bit confusing with some of the colours clashing with others, but we have many more to make their way. Molnar 7th, Jan Halliday coming through in 9th place. Sabrino, no improvement. Best they can do is 14th. Lund now coming up to the line, of course, crowning owner of Sector 1, but that has been usurped by Statura's very strong run, and it is an improvement on time, but not on position for Lund there. Few more cars making their way through. We've got championship fights potentially that could be swayed by these next couple of corners, these next couple of laps. It looks like that is Klaffenbach who is going to be yielding in. Oh, Tensio, big slide, and eventually it does end up going into the pit lane. So very confused on the motive there, and with an invalidation from Cartalundi, meaning they will have no time and be at the back of the grid. Godendorp takes it by storm. 0.369. Very impressive run from the white and red car right now. You can see the rest of the field falling into place. Some of the proximity here is a sight to behold.
Our 2nd repeat pole sitter this season, Kian Godendorp adding 1 point to his championship tally as well, and currently down in P16. So Godendorp will want every single bit of points he can get as well. And you've got Godendorp with 16 points, 3 drivers ahead of him, all tied for 17. So you can see that makes it a 4-way tie for on 17 points for those drivers in that mid-pack. Of course, we're going to run you through the standings in a second as well. But first of all, we're going to take a look at the full qualifying results and how they line up for the race that's coming our way in a couple of moments' time.
Let's have a look then. We got Godendorp, of course, standing proud atop the field with Crozen, Statura, Lukomski, Diotenzio, Benzoni, Molnar, Hardy, Halliday, and Tope making your top 10. We have to go quick here. Alves, Lund, Klaffenbach, Yeltsin, Sabrino, Mackay, Stevens, Cohen, Salsa, and Lundy make 11 through 20. Key highlights, of course, being the proximity that some of those top 10 drivers held with milliseconds between them. Stevens and Cohen matching time for time, and a bit of a qualifying to forget for Lundy as they did not get themselves on that. It is interesting how this qualifying has quickly shapen up to be something a little bit different to maybe what we were expecting.
Yeah, we always get shocks from race to race. Of course, you do expect Klaffenbach to be stronger with what he's shown so far this season, but he's outside the top 10 looking to try come back in the race. So lots of surprises here and there, but great to see Godendorp back on pole position, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in the race. Of course, as I mentioned, a little bit low down in the standings from where he would have wanted. He's got a chance, though, to gain quite a few points today.
Yep, and while we do, of course, have much to discuss from that qualifying session, we're going to take a moment to support the people who support us. We're going to have a quick intermission, folks, while you hear from one of our sponsors who has been very graciously supporting us since, well, a very long time. You know who is. We're going to have a brief word from GT Omega. Welcome back, folks. Of course, support the people who support us, the likes of GT Omega Sim Racing Centre. Really happy to have them as sponsors of PSGL for yet another season. Of course, use code PSGL for a healthy discount at checkout. And with that all being said, as we are looking at the calendar right now, it sort of dawned on me while we were having that short break that we've got Belgium tonight, but then we only have 3 rounds left. And that's going to mean the championship is converging much faster than we think.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone is to fight back against Julian Klavenbach, it starts right here, right now, today. And if they aren't able a hard task in Monza, Qatar, and Brazil. And today, with Julian Klavenbach a little bit out of position in the mid pack, in basically the chaos zone, it does mean that opportunities do arise for the drivers in second, third, and fourth in the standings, meaning it can all change around very quickly. So you need to start cutting into the 24 points gap right now.
Yeah, they need to be cutting into that gap quite substantially to boot as well. Remember, PSGL has a little bit of an adjusted point system, so points aren't awarded so generously as you may see elsewhere. And a gap, 47 to 71 points. That is quite a gap. That is 24 points. Or to put it in another frame of mind, that is if Klaffenbach didn't finish and then Liam Stevens got a first and then I believe a 4th place on the trot. So that's quite a gap to be made up, but say not insurmountable. As you say, the mid pack of Spark can be quite tumultuous, and that could be a key opportunity for not just Stevens but Crozen, Halliday, Hardy, et al. To all maybe make a jump for some prized positions there.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiger Hardy, of course, started the season very well with a second and then another second, followed with a third. Was finally able to return back to the points, getting a P8 after 4 races, not in the points for Tiger Hardy. And they definitely really did need that, did. Tiger Hardy, of course, Benzoni, who won the opening race, also taking victory last time out. Great race by them. Great race from all of our top 3. And great to see Liam Stevens also finally picking up the podium, but he's just been consistent. Just look at the results: 4th, 6th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 6th again. He's been in the top 6 in all races, bar of course that retirement that he had in the opening race at Silverstone. So it's been very consistent from Liam Stevens, which is why he's in 2nd place.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to the power of consistency in a championship like this. When you look at it in isolation and relative to their position in the championship, it feels like there's a disconnect. Like 5th, 6th, being in, say, top 6 just every round, building up that steady bank of points. Even if they haven't had those massive showstopper performances that you may expect from someone second in the championship, it goes to show that sometimes being reliable has far more impact and value than going for those big runs. I think of it like this. You could get a 40.9 10% of the time. But if you're crashing out, you're going to lose a lot more than if you are getting consistent 41.2s. So say it's a couple of tenths slower. It may not be as fast, but that reliability is what's going to get you far in this championship, as exemplified here. And of course, we can see the rest of the championship in full. So Tope is leading the second half of those championship standings with a couple of interesting names. So Rishan not driving tonight, has been replaced, unfortunately, but we will see many other drivers make a stab at it. I mean, Staturer, 15th in the championship, made quite a statement in that qualifying tonight.
As I mentioned in qualifying, that Staturer would have wanted, but today is a day to bounce back, to try get a little bit of a change of momentum and end basically the season on a high. You've still got Spa, which is of course taking place right now. Then you've got Monza, Qatar, Brazil. So plenty of races still to end the season on a high with and score some very big points for all of these drivers. So they're definitely going to need to try take any opportunities that do come up throughout today's race as well. And as you mentioned, of course, you always just need to be consistent in a championship in PSGL and in most championships as well, but especially in PSGL. And if you aren't good at a circuit, it's about limiting those bad days, getting those 4ths, getting those 5ths, as well, even if you are a driver who's always at the top. But if you're going to have an off weekend, you probably want to have that off weekend finishing in a position like fourth, fifth, and sixth as well. Limiting those bad days is always very critical in the standing, and getting the best and making the best of that race as well.
Yeah, well, make the most of it, seize the opportunity, seize the day, and that is going to be the name of the game tonight. With only 3 rounds to go after this, the championship is going to be starting to hang in the balance. Now, Klaffenbach, a good performance here could potentially put him on the brink of locking it out. It's not mathematically impossible for any other driver to touch him at this point, but 24 points is quite a large gap. It won't be mathematically impossible till, say, really coming towards the last round, but we will have, of course, those battles and those drivers who are going to be making some big jumps in this championship. One final run around before we... It is Spa. It is that track, the one you know and love. Well, love is a strong word. It depends on if you've been trackside or if you've been potentially having a bit of a spin through Eau Rouge and Radion. 19 corners, 7.004 kilometers. Technically, 4 meters too long to be considered a legal F1 circuit, but, you know, it's Spa. You can't... You can make a bit of an exception for a racer, for a racetrack like this. It's full of twisting and full of turns, and it's going to be a unique challenge in race trim for these drivers, just as it's been shown in quali.
Yeah, challenging quali, definitely challenge in the race, especially when they're battling all so hard up against drivers with similar pace, with similar talent, and all of them trying to battle and get that first position, scoring as much as points as they can, of course, as well if you are slightly lower down. And we are going to see a little bit of contact at times when they're all battling so hard, but hopefully we're going to get a lot in the way of amazing overtaking action. With, of course, you have the DRS zone down towards Lecombe, the Kemmel Straight, a huge overtaking opportunity when it comes to the race. But around Spa, you can see it really anywhere if the drivers do get a little bit brave.
Yeah, so Kemmel Straight, key flashpoints is going to be your DRS zone coming out of the Kemmel Straight, heading out of Blanchimont as well into the bus stop chicane, and then it may be early moves heading through into La Source with turn 1. Those are going to be your areas to watch, but for now, we are now trackside. We're waiting for them all to get themselves ready, get themselves sorted, and those setups fully locked in. Now, it's looking nice and dry here at Spa, and it is going to lend itself to, well, in typical fashion, looks like it's going to be a medium to hard setup, if not a hard to medium for most. The softs, there is a high tire degradation factor, so the softs aren't really going to be viable unless we have a big shake-up like a safety car. But I'm really looking forward to tonight, I've got to say. It's going to be great. Thank you, of course, to everyone who has been watching in the chat. Make it known who you want to see come out on top. I know we've seen a lot of support for Lundy tonight upon his return, and we love to see that kind of thing. So whether it is for Lundy or it's for any other driver on this grid, let us know who you are rooting for, who you want to see take that checkered flag out here tonight, of course, here at PSGL. And it's going to be, well, apparently a little bit longer than expected before we get trackside.
We'll soon, though, be looking straight to those 5 red lights, and the race will be underway. Our Pulsed, of course, getting the inside line, but the real challenge definitely does come when we get onto the Kemmel Straight, with everyone slipstreaming their way up there as well. You're kind of bringing everyone along with you while they all battle for all sorts of positions. So we're going to be in for some interesting opening lap to this race that should be coming our way at any moment.
Yep, I say any moment now. Now would be good. Any good time. No, it's the drivers locking in their setups and confirming. But there we go, right on cue. It is 3, 4, 5 red lights. The track is hot here in Belgium for Spa. And it's going to be an immediate getaway as many of the drivers are dashing to get into that ideal racing line. Godendorp immediately sweeping to the outside, taking confirmation of the line. Big contact between the two green cars right there. You see, there's already going to be drivers in the gravel. That's Hardy, Benzoni, Tope, all going off out in through La Source, and that is going to be a big breakaway immediately coming for this top three. Godendorp, Crozen, Staturer, big opportunity for them to get away from this field as many of them continue to squabble. Molnar and Atencio, Lakomsky trying to bridge the divide, and it's not looking good for many others at the back of this field. Carbon strewn are all around turn one.
Chaos at the race start, contact at the back, but it was an exciting start to the race with Campbell Satchel trying to get past Crozen. Meanwhile, that's Julian Klavenbach trying to dive to the inside, has got to keep his nose clean. That is close to contact between Alex and Klavenbach. Directly behind, we're watching the battle between Halliday and Daniel trying to go all the way around the outside. Still they run side by side. Who is going to give an inch as we go into Pooh, and it's going to be Daniel who gives up the position. Through goes Jan Halliday, our championship leader, electing to start on the medium compound of tyres. That's why he is already going on the attack. Tope on the soft, all of the other drivers on the white wall, hard compound of tyres.
I've got to say, a bit of a wild card and an oddball for Tope choosing the softs. Maybe they were trying to get some early positions and then jump into the pit early, stretch hard compounds all the way to the end. A very high risk strategy, and unfortunately that incident at turn one has not done them any favors in this unique regard. Klaffenbach though is going to leverage those yellow walls, is going to make a move on Alves before we even get to the bus stop chicane. Just the superior lateral grip as they go through Blanchimont, and once again going to be making a move, this time bus stop, this time Leo Lund, and done so successfully as they took a little bit slower of an exit out into lap 2.
Indeed, that is going to be late to the brakes from Nelson House. To the inside he goes of Leo Lund. Still they run side by side. In the background, Sergio Sabrino also pushing Daniel down another position, and it's single file stuff as we head to Rouge and Radion, with now DRS open for Joris Crozen and open for everyone in this train bar Kian Godendorp, and they're all going to be gaining on Kian Godendorp as well. Just ahead, Jan Halliday is getting past Nelson now, looking further back. Sergio Sabrino trying to defend. Felipe Souza trying to go on the attack. Been a great start for the Brazilian driver, up to P13 at the moment and looking to gain a few more places. That's Julian Klavenbach trying to make the move, trying to use those medium compound at this stage of the race, and he's got up to P6.
Yeah, brilliant run initially from Klaffenbach. Of course, they have to leverage this medium tyre. They have to make use of the fact that the entire field has started on the white walls, naturally going for a hard to medium strategy here at Spa. So trying to invert that, get an early jump, use the chaos of the initial laps to your advantage. That's going to be Klaffenbach's play. We'll see what his engineering perspective is on this as the race goes on. But it's going to be, so far, as things start to settle down here at lap 2, Godendorp leads with a strong start, an initial statement of pace. Crozen taking P2, Staturer in 3rd place. Strong qualifying, and it's going to continue that momentum.
Yep, absolutely. As we go down to the bus stop chicane once again then, and we're going to see who is going to be dishing out the overtakes. Felipe Souza, as we mentioned, up to P13. He was close to making a move when we went into the bus stop chicane. It will be Julian Klavenbach getting the power down, taking 5th position by the time that he gets on the brakes for La Source, and he has made another pass there. He'll continue to do that as we continue on in this race on the 3rd lap at the moment, and Klavenbach's got a 7:10 gap ahead due to the battling that they had through the bus stop chicane, but he'll be able to pull that back in with those medium compound of tyres. But Angelo is close to possibly going for the move. He is not going to elect to do that at this stage of proceedings, as Harvey Cohen looking for a move on Felipe Souza, also trying to get past Daniel, as retiring in the pit lane is Topper. Here we go, we join this battle now live as well, and it's going to be Felipe Souza just ahead of Harvey Cohen. Then it's Carter Lundy in P15.
Well, we see Souza, in fact, taking a little bit of a off-track extend retained position. I'm not sure if the stewards are going to be scrutinising that in any form, but we see a yellow coming out. That is going to be, of course, Tope retiring out at the back of the field. It didn't quite work out for them early days, and unfortunate to see that we have already got a retiree in this race just on lap 3. Meanwhile, back up at the top, Crozen is going to keep that gap short and tight to Godendorp. They're not going to let him get away easy. DRS is keeping them within range and within check, so Godendorp is going to have to manage these next couple of laps in particular very carefully. They're not going to have the advantage of those DRS zones, and it might even be worthwhile from a pure race strategy point to let a couple of cars go by in order to keep your resources on tap for the later stages. Counterintuitive as it might seem, it looks like that might still be viable. We go too wide into the bus stop chicane. Full Noah's Ark style is 2x2. P2 to P5, all looking for the same positions, and only a few drivers coming out on top. Klaffenbach still remains alongside Lukomsky as we head into La Source. Going to commit with that additional grip. Try and make it done, but they're completely boxed in. Lukomsky and Statera giving him nowhere to go. Has no choice but to yield back as we head back into Eau Rouge and Radion for the 4th time now.
To tune it up as we went into the bus stop chicane. Frozen had a little look, but they were all switching behind as well for third, fourth and fifth. Onto the Camel Straight we go, and that is Lukomsky trying to make the move. He's also under pressure from Klaffenbach, who's trying to go the long way around. Is Klaffenbach going to be able to get there? That's close to contact between the two of them. Klaffenbach trying to get by, and he's still keeping his foot in. That is incredibly brave by the only driver on the medium compound of tyres, and he's still going for it all the way around the outside. They are banging wheels, and they are continuing to go side by side, corner after corner. Is Klaffenbach finally going to get the position? He is going to get the position, and Klaffenbach moves up to P4.
Lukomsky not feeling too happy with that one. They had a bit of contact on Kemmel, and they kept bumping tyres several points throughout the second sector thus far. But Klaffenbach has got it done. Technically, it is legal because they have kept it within those white lines. But we will, of course, have to see about how that one all turns out. Important thing for now, though, is Klaffenbach is in that second row of cars, and they're going to try now to close the gap to Statera, but time is soon going to be running out. Those mediums cannot go on forever. The hards are going to start to come into their own by about, I'd say, lap 6 or 7, where we'll start to see the mediums maybe lose a little bit of that peak pace.
Absolutely. Once again, down to the bus stop chicane we go, and they're all still all over the road, and that's a move in the background by Sergio Sabrino, moving up to 10th position momentarily, still side by side with Nelson Alves, who's going to be shown the curb, and they are banging wheels as we go on to the start finish straight here at Spa. Down towards turn number 1, is it going to be the position trying still to go the long way around is Nelson Alves up alongside Sergio Sabrino, who's going to get the power down. It's going to be Alves who is moving up to currently what is 10th right now, and they're still pushing each other. You can see how close. Sergio Sabrino saying get on with it. Daniel's also going to be in the mix, and we're about to go 3 wide as we go on to the Camel Straight. There's not going to be much room there for Daniel, but he's made some room for himself. He went on the grass, he was brave, and he's got his reward. He's taken P10, and we're side by side behind as well. It's Sousa trying to also punish Alves much more, and Felipe Sousa's off, and that is going to cause the safety car. Felipe Sousa out of the race, battling 4 positions there as we're watching them all go side by side, and it's Sousa who has come off the worst. He's out here at Spa.
Unfortunate to see, as Sousa, I think, either made contact or just kept their foot in a little bit too long coming out of the Camel Straight. It's going to be a mad dash, I think, for the pit lane, because now this could be a big strategic shake-up. The full safety car is out, and if there's anyone that's going to benefit, it's Klaffenbach, because it's going to be more viable for them to switch compounds than any of the hard runners. 4 laps in to have a safety car, it's a lot harder of a justification, considering that any tyre they switch to, like mediums, they might just have to swap off again due to degradation.
So we are about to get a very, very busy pit lane. Cartalundi has left the session. He has left the session then. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back in. The driver currently in P14, but we're about to see a huge amount of cars diving in to that pit lane. It's about to get busy down there as well, under the safety car, completely changing up the race.
Yep, everyone is going to be diving in. You see that pit text coming through, very consistent through there. Cohen making the brave choice to remain out against the cadence of all the other drivers around them. Lundy doing much of the same, although they did leave the session, so that could be the AI taking hold for them on their behalf. But big rush to the pit lane. Godendorp onto the mediums. As long as everyone gets 2 compounds in, we're going to see the entire white wall fields go yellow very, very soon. Only exception being, of course, Klaffenbach. They started on medium, they got that early pace jump, and now they can go onto the hards, potentially eking them out to the very end of the session. We are getting a bit of info as well about Tope, as well as what happened with a couple of other drivers. So Statera has just left the session. We're getting informed that there has been some game crashes, as well as with Tope's situation. It's going to be, unfortunately, not down to an interesting strategy call, but the game itself. They chose hards, and the game gave them softs. So, bit of an unfortunate situation to be dealt with there. And with that being said, folks, we are down to 17 cars. Not sure why Camel ended up retiring. I have to question that. But Lundy is currently P2 in an interesting turn of events, considering that they did not start at the front of the grid. In fact, they were at the very back. They did not set a time. Only driver not to do so. They now sit at that front row and in the heap of the podium.
Yeah, would be incredible if Carter-Lundy can lead the race, even if it is for a couple of moments on this restart, but they probably might dive it back into the pit lane when they get control of their car as well. But yeah, keep an eye on Klaffenbach in P6 as well. He's going to be trying to defend from the drivers who will be attacking on the mediums. But yeah, disappointment for Stoutra. A great qualifying session as well for him. And then he's once again not going to be able to continue his form from qualifying into the race conditions, and it will be another retirement for him. So he will be our third retirement of this race. Top 8 has also retired. Felipe Sanz, of course, bringing out this safety car. So he was the other retirement as we continue behind the safety car. Safety car should be in at the end of the next lap, hopefully.
Yep, so we will be going back into full race conditions for lap 8 of 22, folks. One thing that I do speculate, though, and I'm seeing a little bit of a chat doing so, is, well, one, Carter-Lundy heading into the pits, as you predicted, but more importantly as well, the weather. Now, I am seeing here that in 30 minutes there is a 50% chance of heavy downfall, and that is going to shake up the dynamic massively. It's going to be quite a shake-up if we get to, say, lap 19 and the rain suddenly starts falling and absolutely coating the track. Because from then, you've got an interesting call to make. Do you commit and stay out on the dries, even if you are going to be hemorrhaging time? Or do you make the call, go into inters, and then have the safety of that last stint? You lose some time in the pit, but could you make up for it depending on how early the rain starts to fall?
Yeah, absolutely. So that could be some late drama in this race. We've already had late drama across the entire season, whether it be safety cars, whether it be a thrilling final lap. Let's see what Spa is going to have for us. And it could have some weather, which is what we see mostly at Spa as well. Not the best of conditions, even though we've started this one with some great conditions. We're going to have great conditions for most of it. We had a good, we had dry, of course, in qualifying as well. But it seems like at the end, weather could be getting a little bit of trouble for these drivers, and it could leave them with some very tricky conditions.
Very tricky conditions to handle means adaptability is going to be paramount. Now keep in mind, it is still 30 minutes away, but the chance is rapidly increasing. And as we get closer to the end of the race, time will tell. The clouds will condense over the course, and we will have our answers. For now, though, we will, of course, have to wait and see in anticipation. We are halfway through lap 7. We have seen most of the drivers, after an initial hard tyre stint, switch onto the medium, which they hope to take to the end of the race. Or at least hope that if this rain is to come, they are going to be in a prime position to be able to switch off into an optimal compound. Safety car is in this lap. We just had the call from race control, and Cohen is going to be the one setting the pace into lap 8. When we go green flag once more.
Now, Camel Stoutra's car has not retired. I've commentated on a race previously here at Spa, where it's just pulled up right before Rouge. This time it seems like it's disappeared from the map, so everything is okay. So we're not going to get the car parked right before the Rouge corner. And we're about to go racing, though, with 17 drivers remaining, with Harvey Cohen currently in the lead. Kian Godendorf, Prozen, Lukumski, all trying to go on the attack. Julian Klavenbach on those hard compound of tyres. When is Harvey Cohen going to get his foot down and take us back to green flag racing conditions? There we go. Harvey Cohen gets his foot down towards the source corner. We go with Kian Godendorf in second. Prozen is in third position. Who is going to be who's going to be dishing out the overtakes by the time that we get down to Lecom? It's still Cohen, Godendorf, and Prozen currently the top 3, as they all try to get some good exits to put the pressure on by the time that we get on the brakes for Lecom.
Yep, and the drivers are going to be filing single file only all the way through for Eau Rouge and Radion into Kemmel now. It's going to be close proximity for some, but you can see Kian is going to be immediately pushing on, and the heightening the pressure placed on Cohen. Of course, they stayed out on their initial stint, only driver to do so when the safety car came in, and we're going to see the effects of that happen in real time. Much more primed mediums, they're fully warmed against those hards. They are going to be much faster out on that course. Cohen is dropping pace significantly to the rest of the field, who have fresh mediums, full batteries, and a hunger for podium positions. Croson is going to be next as they try to take the chopping block coming out of Puon. Don't usually see an overtake there every day, but regardless, they commit, heading out and through into turns 12 and beyond.
Yep, so that is going to be Croson up to second position as well. Lukumski's also going to try and get through Leolon, trying to apply the pressure currently in P10, but we're watching the change for P3. Now P4, Klaffenbach going round the outside as well, and he should be able to get through. Harry Cohen not putting up too much of a fight as well. As we go down to the braking zone, we are debating the battles. We're debating right now 4th position. That's close to contact. Angela trying to go through as well. As we get down the straight once again, DRS will be enabled, so they'll get that when we run down the Kemmel straight, and it's Godendorf currently with the lead. Croson in second, who is going to be in 4th position. Andre Molnar now trying to get involved, and Klaffenbach drops down to P6. Molnar up to P5, and he's going to get the chance to also go up against Angelo down the Kemmel straight. As Croson 2 tenths away, he'll get a chance as well to take the race lead. A reminder, of course, the safety car graphic is just a bug as well, so ignore that. Down the straight though, let's see who is going to be pulling out to make the move. Sergio Sabrino looking for it on Daniel down to the braking zone, but it's going to be Daniel who stays in P8.
Yeah, well, the drivers are going to be taking a little bit of initial risk as you see Sabrino peeking out the side as we head into Kemmel, and then Cohen is going to be finding a new assailant in the form of Kjelsen, who is going to breeze to the side of their other car. It's not going to be such an easy job, but Sabrino is going to make it 3 apiece heading into Puon. Someone's got to yield here, and it is going to be Kjelsen and Cohen in the end. Sabrino making it a double. Quite a move going in as we head into the 3rd sector very shortly. Lund is going to make a move, and we see a lot of the drivers now fully leaning into their mediums and seeming to be a bit more eager to push on their tyres, to wear them down, but to get that extra edge.
Goodness me, 3 wide into Puon, and they're about to continue all the battling as well. Halliday trying now to make the move on Harry Cohen. Riccardo Benzoni is gaining as well, and is he going to get through when we go into Blanchimon? That's close to contact up ahead with Halliday trying to get past Daniel as we make our way down towards the bus stop chicane, and they still remain side by side, but it's Halliday who is ahead, and at the back also Harry Cohen continuing to lose places. That's close. Looking for the move is Andre Molnar, electing not to go for it when we hit the brakes for Le Source though. It is going to be a dive bomb coming from Nelson Alves, I believe, down the inside of the background. Yes, it was Nelson Alves. He's still debating it though with Harvey Cohen when they get on the power, but when it turns into a traction race, it is going to be won by Nelson Alves, who is up to 12th position right now in this race. Back on the Kemmel straight we go, and Julian Klavenbach is a 10th away from a move on Andre Molnar. Is he about to duck out? He's close, but not close enough. So not wanting to, of course, use the ERS and waste the ERS at this stage of the contest.
Well, Klavenbach doesn't really have the same attack power that the rest of this field does. Keep in mind, he's on the hards, and everyone around him is on mediums. He's done very well to control the pace and get close to that podium at points. But every now and again, he will just have to yield a little bit of pace or a little bit of position, just because he hasn't got the same kind of compound and the same kind of tools to be able to fight back. His focus now is going to be on drawing out the miles, drawing out the opponents, forcing them into positions where they're going to start degrading and losing pace. That is when he strikes, in the latter half of the race, rather than now. It's what he needs to focus on, and what many of the other drivers are focusing on in terms of their races is going to be those early positions. Of course, everyone else is on the mediums and is on even keel, but Cohen is on 14th position, soon to be 15th, and I have to think, was it a mistake to stay out when the rest of the field went in? I'm going to say yes, unless they can pull it out of the hat at the very end of the race, or have a strategic masterclass with an undercut onto a potential medium or an inter if the conditions permit it. It's not looking good for Cohen as we reach the halfway point.
Yeah, absolutely not looking good. He's been degrading down the order. But, of course, the rain still could come. There still could be changes, as we always do see in league racing. And now Cartalundi is about to make the move as well as we go on to the Kemmel Straight, pulling to the outside line. Also bringing Riley McKay with him as well. And both sides, that is going to be Cartalundi and Riley McKay going through. Now they'll start debating the position themselves. And it's going to be Cartalundi who is in P14, Riley McKay in 15. And Harvey Curran continues to lose plenty of places in this race, as we would expect with his tyre as well.
It's a little bit of chop and change. It's those smaller wins that these drivers need to focus on at this point in time. We're halfway through the race. We've had the safety car. The drivers are starting to somewhat settle. Only exception to the rule, I'd say, is Tycho Hardy, currently 4.3 seconds down the order. Maybe they had a little bit of a slip earlier on. We couldn't quite catch it, but with the likes of the mid-pack, and as we look on board with people like Molnar, they've got close proximity to other drivers. They can chop and change and fight for spots, but really, they just need that consistent pace, lap in, lap out, in order to fully gauge. So saying that, he's not going to take no for an answer. Molnar, alongside Diortensio, going to be heading into the bus stop chicane now, boxed in by Lukomsky just up ahead. Going to be going for the send. A little bit of a lock-up contact coming through, as it's 3 wide very briefly through the bus stop. Bit of a better exit. That's going to be Diortensio, making it into 3rd place. Lukomsky down to 4th.
Indeed, Diortensio able to get up to 3rd position, then still continuing to battle. But it was incredible speed when we made our way through Blanchimont and then down to the bus stop chicane. As you mentioned, 3 wide at one point, as now they will make their way up through Rouge and Radion. Klaffenburg once again is close to the move as well, and this time he is going to try. This time he's much more closer. He's drawing alongside Andre Molnar, and is he going to be able to get through? Not even a contest. Julian Klaffenburg is able to fight a way by. Close under braking between currently our top 4 in this one, and they're all currently in this train waiting for their opportunities to come on this circuit. Still a long way to go. Still, of course, they could have the weather to contend with at the end of this one. You want to make sure that you do remain in this DRS train and give yourselves a chance at the end, because who knows what could happen when you've got such a challenging decision to make. If you get the strategy right, you could find yourselves going to the top step of the podium by the end of the 22 laps when they take the checkered flag. Anything is possible here at Spa and in PSGL, but the clouds starting to come, as you can see in the background.
Yeah, the clouds are starting to form now. We are 10 minutes away from it being at least overcast. Rain is not guaranteed, but it certainly seems to be looming, and the drivers are going to have to be acutely aware of this. Let's hope that their engineering skills, or their race engineer waiting in the wings, is with their foot to the ground and their finger on the pulse as this race situation continues to evolve. Sabrino alongside Molnar heading into the bus stop chicane is going to go for it. Is going to try and make it a double. They've at least got it on Molnar. Can they get it on Klaffenburg? Of course, the tyre advantage could be pressed, but a bit of a wiggle coming from Molnar, trying to grip up, is going to leave them well in the dust as Sabrino, who doesn't quite make it on Klaffenburg, but is still making it good enough for 6th. And I have to look at Klaffenburg as he's going through all of this. He's not having an easy time. He's on the ragged edge of things. And oh, that is carbon being strewn about. Let's see exactly what happened there. That is Leo Lund. That is a car marooned in the center of the course, but yet we only get a VSC call. That is terminal damage for Leo Lund. That is our 4th retirement, and the VSC has been deployed.
Well, Leo Lund retires from the race, and as you mentioned, the virtual safety car is deployed indeed. So that will be disappointment for the driver. 7th in the championship, has only retired once so far this season. That was in Jeddah, and it will be another retirement this time around here at Spa on lap number 13, and it means the race is neutralized. Keeping your delta in the green is going to be critical, and then also getting ready to react, as you can gain a little bit on your rivals, and also making sure that you get the most out of the delta. Don't leave yourself vulnerable to a poor restart, and that could give plenty of other drivers the opportunity. You want to be the one trying to go on the attack, and they're all going to play around with the delta, trying to play it to the best they all can manage. And it's Godendorp, Prozen, then we have Angelo, Lukumski, Klaffenbach, Sabrino, Molnar, Halliday, Benzoni, and Daniel, as we're under the virtual safety car. That's our top 10 currently in this race.
Well, the field is going to be quickly getting back up to green flag speeds. I was about to say, you hope that you'll be in the right position when green flag racing resumes. And it looks like Kjeldsen is going to be one to do just that, although it's not going to do it without challenge, as that is going to be Benzoni continuing to commit to the fight all the way through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane. It's not going to be a yield for Kjeldsen, though, and that is going to be a confirm on P9. Very impressive from the red car as we come through into lap 14 now. And I have to say, the safety car, the VSC I should say, has been a boon for the medium runners. It's been a little bit of a lifeline to extend that tyre life and that prime pace just that little bit longer.
Indeed, as once again we go through Rouge and through Radion. Opportunity this time for Angelo, who is going to be trying to make the move for P3. They're also battling and they're also very close. On board we go with Angelo, who is not using the RS at this stage, wants to save those resources for later on in this contest, as he should at this stage, because the order can change around very quickly around this circuit, so you always want to have ERS in the ending of the contest. And right now Molnar running in 7th, just ahead of Jan Halliday. Benzoni in 10th, our winner from last time out, and he's close to a move on Daniel. They're all battling, of course, on the virtual safety car restart. Yellow flags are out, and is the Harvey Cohen, who's had a moment that could get very close for Tycho Hardy, who was nearly into the back of Cohen, and it was Harvey Cohen who had a moment, and that is disappointing for him as he drops all the way to the back now with Hardy up to P15.
That could have got ugly very quickly, so Hardy luckily being able to avoid that incident and get to P15 and live to fight another day, more importantly. Lekomsky is under serious pressure from Klappenbach as they are going to be fighting through Blanchimont. Klappenbach down into the inside. We're going to see those hards start to take a little bit of form now and start to be a lot more even of a fighter with those medium compounds. As we head into lap 15, there is plenty on the table for all of these drivers, but it's going to be a trade-off now. Do I go for those early aggressive moves and establish position, or do I hang back, wait for the others to fight, and then take the move? I can tell you right now, going for the lead at lap 15 is a fool's errand. You're just going to be caught up by DRS, you're going to burn your battery in defense, and that is going to leave you completely out of luck in the last couple of laps where it matters. Benzoni is going to be hit with 3 seconds of time penalties for multiple track limit warnings, and Alves is going to be left completely in the dust as Stevens is going to get a double heading out a Kemmel Straight, and Lundy is going to be making a last minute assertion too. Contact between Alves, big wobble coming from the blue car as they go down to 13th, but yeah, Lundy coming alongside, quickly asserting themselves into P12.
Yeah, incredible battling there as well between all of them. Carter Lundy getting his elbows out at Lecom, and they're all so close in this lap. They're all threatening to make some late dive bombs, make some late moves, and that definitely does apply to Sergio Sabrino pushing Lekumsky through these corners at this stage. And it's all about, as you mentioned, Staffy, do they make the late sends, do they make the late moves, or do they hang back at this stage?
Well, I'd say look to the likes of Diotensio and Crozen. They are in the perfect positions right now, because they have the DRS, they have the proximity and therefore slipstream of each other, and they have Godendorp to use as a bit of a windbreak. They can have a bit of squabble between themselves, as we're seeing here. Crozen is going to go for a P2 heading into bus stop. Klappenbach is going to tail, as well as Diotensio going side by side with him heading through into lap 16. But Godendorp is going to eventually run out of time or run out of battery, and that is when those two can strike. So I'd say they are in the best positions on the circuit right now, short of fighting and squabbling between themselves to ruin it and lose time.
Yep, indeed, as once again looking for the move in the background was Molnar trying to get past Sergio Sabrino. He was super close to getting through, of course, doesn't want to risk it into Rouge and Radion, especially when you've got such a huge overtaking opportunity coming down the Kemmel Straight, and they're definitely going to get it now as we do run down the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, and you see going side by side very briefly, that's a Molnar, Halliday, Sabrino, big contact, big issues coming there. You see Carl strewn into the gravel as that is Sabrino quickly dropping all the way down into P14. I believe that they established contact with a couple of the other drivers, and that is going to be quite a dicey situation to navigate. We have seen some drivers come out on top. Lundy now up into P11 and could be making themselves into a points-paying position if they could get past Benzoni, but time is of the essence.
Absolutely. As once again, they still continue the chase. Benzoni has got a time penalty. The driver currently running in 10th, of course, a two-time winner so far this season. It will need something wild, which around Spa in PSGL there can be something wild for him, especially when the rain is coming, the clouds are coming in. There could be rain at the end of this one, of course not 100%, but that is definitely a possibility for a late race change as well. So still anything can happen here in PSGL at Spa, and they're all going to be getting more and more aggressive the further we make our way towards lap number 22, meaning that the opportunities definitely do come. As we take a look at those tyres, of course, and you do have Judy and Klavenbach on those hards as we've been mentioning throughout, but now we're heading into the final stages of this race, and let's see whether we're going to see any of the drivers currently in 6th, 7th or 8th trying to get themselves further up. They want to be in those 2nd, 3rd positions as well to have a realistic chance on those last few laps. Julian Klavenbach definitely is gaining. Meanwhile, Angelo's trying to pull off a move as well. 3 wide we go for the lead, and that is so close to contact. Getting out of it is Angelo, and it's going to be Krozen, then Kronendorf, and Angelo trying to get involved as well. Look at this from Julian Klavenbach, our championship leader, risking it to the inside, risking it all, and he's going to get his reward. He's taken 2nd position. That was brave when he saw the battling ahead. He's taken advantage, and he's taken P2 with that.
Like a vulture, they let the common fodder scrabble, and then they pick up the scraps and fly off into the sunset. Klaffenbach up into P2 after a striking move for 2 positions. Let Hortensio and Lukomsky fight, and then swiping up into the side, making it P2, and now it's going to be a straight shot between them and Krozen. But like we said earlier, do they want to go for that P1 so early? They are in that good position. They're on the hard tyres. They're only going to get in a more advantageous position as this race progresses. Hortensio, along with Lukomsky, must be seething, must be beside themselves right now. And you can see that immediately come to progression as Hortensio is having none of it. Tries to pull alongside. Is going to get a little bit of the nose in, but it's too busy fighting with Lukomsky for that on-track space to really ledge a proper move.
Indeed, once again, down the straight we go. You can see the racing is definitely getting exciting. It's definitely getting on the edge between all of these drivers. Lukomsky looking for it. That is going to be a bit of the wide line from him, and it'll give the opportunity definitely to Godendorp as well. Down this straight, we are going to be heading once more. Who will be dishing out the overtakes? Jan Halliday looks close to a move. All the while, let's see whether Halliday will be able to find anything on Kian Godendorp, and it's going to be the battle for 2nd place. Angelo trying to get past Klaffenbach. Angelo going for it as well. Look at that from Lukomsky, almost taking the race lead. Side by side we go between Krozen and then Angelo. It's 2 by 2 as we make our way through in this battle for the lead, and it's Krozen who's still got it, but the inside line is going to belong to Angelo. They remain wheel to wheel. Lukomsky leaving a nose in there. That's contact. Our championship leader makes contact as well with Krozen, who's dropped down slightly. Krozen drops down to P5 now, momentarily was down to 6. It's Angelo with the lead, then it's Lukomsky, and they're still battling behind as we go into P1, and it's going to be Godendorp in 6th, then it's going to be Krozen, Molnar in 4th, Klaffenbach in 3rd, Lukomsky, Angelo with the top 2 places right now. Molnar given a 10-second penalty by the game.
Major squeeze coming in there, and the green cars all coming together in synchronicity. Klaffenbach, in fact, despite being the one who had the nose in from the rear position, was the one who came out the best in all of that, because with the Krozen getting tipped on the left side, and I believe Molnar was on the right. We'll have to, of course, review, and the stewards, I think, are going to be taking particular ire to that incident. But as things currently stand, Molnar being punished heavily by the game. 10 seconds for corner cutting and gaining a position, reportedly. Krozen is going to make full effect of that initial squabble, and that is going to be a bit of drama now subsiding, with Alves taking 3 seconds, my mistake, along with a fight for Sabrino to take P11. They are going to remain side by side. Liam Stevens is going to be getting caught in the squabbles themselves, as they are now going to be under threat.
Indeed, the battling will continue down the straight once again, and this time it will be further back, but Klaffenbach's also going to try and put the pressure. Halliday's moving up to P6, and once again they're all over the road, and this time it's Molnar trying to get to the inside of Krozen. It's Angelo with the lead, then it's Klaffenbach in 2nd, Lukomsky in 3rd, and then we find ourselves with Krozen in 4th, Molnar ahead of Jan Halliday, and right now Lukomsky pushing Klaffenbach through these corners. Angelo trying to get outside the 1 second. That would be critical for his race.
Yep. Diotensio is going to be at a crossroads here. Now, they could either go full push, break the second barrier, and ride off into the sunset, leaving Klaffenbach to be the one without a DRS to pull them out of the sticky situation that is Lukomski and Krozen waiting in the wings. Molnar just as annoyed and likely going to be driving even harder with that 10-second penalty to their name. Or if they don't manage to pull that off, they are going to be stuck without any resource, trying to fend off from Klaffenbach, and that gap is going to close. We're coming up to the detection section for Blanchimont, or just after, heading into the bus stop chicane. Klaffenbach is going to take a bit more speed coming through that segment. They are just going to pass detection and be able to keep the DRS. They live to drag race for another day.
Indeed, look at that, Molnar just ahead of Krozen as well. So they were battling as we went down to the bus stop chicane, and they're also going to be continuing when we do make our way down the straight once more then, and it's going to be foot to the floor, and still inside the 1 second is Julian Klaffenbach, using quite a bit of ERS though to maintain the 1 second gap to Angela. They want to give themselves a realistic chance right at the end. Lukumski's going to get dragged along, and they're going to be battling for fourth position, as we're going to see Lukumski trying to go the long way around. They cannot afford to battle, or they will all lose together. Klaffenbach's gone in too hot. Lukumski moves up to second position, and it's going to be Krozen, then Molnar. They were battling with P4 as well, but Klaffenbach going in a little bit too hot, trying to defend, and it's Lukumski who says thank you very much, up to P2.
Masterful execution, masterful gambit from Lukomski heading into P2 there, of course, baiting their opponents out into a defensive position where they have to take a suboptimal line and then sweeping back to take the position. That was almost textbook from Lukomski there, and that is a very impressive take for position. The orange is now going to be all that stands in Diotensio's way of taking the win of this race. But with lap 20 or 22, soon to be 21, time is running out to make those corners, those proximity gains, and this race count for him in that way.
1 second gap is once again right on the brink, and Lukumski's now the one who is having to use a little bit of that ERS, working hard to stay inside a 1 second gap. And that is the interesting thing. You can see that Lukumski's not got too much ERS, and here we go with the battling. Krozen trying to go the long way around. Julian Klaffenbach, they remain side by side, wheel to wheel they go, and getting the power down, it's going to be Klaffenbach, but will Krozen have the chance to fight back? Down towards turn number 1. Meanwhile, Andre Molnar trying to get involved, and Molnar also trying to make this move. They continue battling. 3 wide we go in the battle for second place. Lukumski's been absolutely mugged, and it's Krozen who may have a 10-second penalty, but he's got second place right now. Lukumski still risking it. As are we about to go side by side through a route of radio. The raid is falling as well. It's drama. Late on here at Spa. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. Klaffenbach's got some mighty speed. Look at the speed that Julian Klaffenbach has got. They're all over the road. Lukumski on the grass momentarily. Halliday trying to go through as well, and it is going to be Klaffenbach. Is he going to make the corner? Just about. With 3 wide now in the battle of third. It's Halliday who has got it momentarily. Molnar though trying to go through 2 by 2. Down we go to the braking zone, and they're still going to remain side by side, still battling their way through. Lukumski is in the orange car, trying to go around the outside. Still, will he get the inside line? And it's Angelo who has confirmed himself out front. Then it's Klaffenbach, then it is Molnar ahead of Halliday, and then Krozen, Lukumski, the top 6.
Halliday with the late surge, proving himself to be one of the drivers you never want to count out of a situation. He's been waiting in the wings, and that was his chance to strike, and he so far has taken it. The rain is falling, but it's not enough for race control to call off DRS. So with that all being said, folks, it is still considered just about within the range of operability for the slick tyres, and that is going to be the prayer that Diotensio needs. 1.5 seconds clear of Klaffenbach. There's a lot of work to do if the cars want to close up in terms of gap, but all of that squabbling, P2 through to P6, that has left Diotensio with 1.6 seconds to his name. Klaffenbach is in his own little bubble as well, 1.4 clear of Molnar, as the rest of the field continues that 2x2 Noah's Ark style squabbling all that way through into the final lap. Now we are running out of chances, we are running out of opportunities for this to go any other way than Diotensio taking that checkered flag.
Indeed, Liam Stevens, Sergio Sabrina battling currently for P10, but it is going to be the battle for P3. That is going to get very tasty. You can see Lukumski is going to be sitting in behind, getting a good view of Joris Krozen, Jan Halliday, Andre Molnar, all duking it out down the straight. Halliday's going to go through. Krozen's going to pull to the outside line. Molnar is not going to be able to defend. Godendorf getting past Lukumski as well, and they're both going to try and put the pressure as well on Andre Molnar. And it's Lukumski versus Daniel putting a nose in there momentarily. He backs out of it. He is going to be in P8.
And with that all coming to a head, we briefly saw that could have got nasty. There was a front wing coming up alongside Lukomski's rear tyre, and that would have spelled trouble very, very fast. Luckily, no incident, and Lukomski remains P7 with Yeltsin down in 8. Krozen is going to continue the pressure on Halliday. They may have 10 seconds, but they are still fighting with every inch of the track and with every fibre of their racing suits as they come up through the final time in Sector 2. It's going to be a mad race to get the edge on each other, heading into Blanchimont and into bus stop now.
Here we go then. It is going to be foot to the floor all the way through, while Angelo is on his way to victory. It's been a brilliant performance from him. He's bringing it down to the bus stop chicane with rain falling right at the end. But he's going to come into the bus stop chicane, and in only his second PCF2 race, he was leading the F3 championship. He got his promotion, and in his second PCF2 race, he's going to see the checkered flag first as the winner. Klaffenbach will take P2. Then it is going to be Halliday after the penalties are applied. Godendorf, Lukumski the top 5, then Daniel Stevens, Carter Lundy and PA, brilliant stuff on his return, Sabrino and Riley McKay the top 10. What a race that was.
Yeah, that Krozen, 20 seconds of penalties being slapped to his name by the end of that race. So I wonder if there is going to be any appeals coming Stewart's side to see about potential removals. Alves, Krozen, and finally Cohen going to be making their way across. But Diotensio capitalizing on the situation perfectly and running off into the, well, very overcast sunset by this point, with some big winners and big losers to be spoken of. Of course, we'll see them in the podium in a second, but what a run.
Wow. Brilliant. Vintage PSGL once again, as we've seen across the whole season, and it continues at Spa, and it does leave us with an interesting final 3 rounds to decide our champion coming up as well.
There you go. As the podium is set, we can see Diotensio takes the checkered flag 41 minutes later with a solid run, 5th in quali, and then making it to the very top. Klaffenbach from 13th does manage to get into P2, so easily the most amount of positions gained throughout the course of the race, but that is actually matched, if not superseded. My mistake. There is one driver who has made more points, positions, and into P8, Carter Lundy making the points on their return. What a fairy tale story. P20 to P8 did in fact gain, I believe, the most positions over the course of the entire race, and that is quite the return to be spoken of. Then you have Jan Halliday completing the podium, and then back up to the top we have Godendorp, Lukomski, Kjeldsen, Stevens, of course, Carter Lundy with Sergio Sabrino and Riley Mackay completing your top 10. Benzoni, Molnar, Hardy, Alves, Cohen and Krozen complete your finishing drivers roster, with Lund crashing out, unfortunately, coming out of La Source. Staturer, I believe, having a game crash or leaving during the safety car period. And then you have Salsa, much to dismay, coming out of Kemble Straight. And then Top 8 going for a retirement after a tyre issue. What a race, though, from everyone involved. And I want to jump straight in and see if we can get a chance to jump. And because there's so many interweaving storylines going on through that race. You had Klaffenbach making an alternate strategy work all the way to P2. You had Lundy starting from the very bottom of the grid and then making all the way to the P8, to the point where I wonder if it was part of a mission statement. Maybe they didn't want to put a quali time down. We didn't see them on a full push lap. We only saw them either at invalid or on the side, allowing other drivers to pass. But many stories to recap and to ask over. But let's just hope that we get a chance to talk to them. I mean, what were your thoughts of that, Omi?
Absolutely fantastic. What an incredible race that was, as every race has been this season as well. But yeah, well done to Angelo. Brilliant performance, as I mentioned, in only his second PCF2. race as well. But Julian Klavenbach, though, started low down, had a bad qualifying compared to usual, meaning that they had to go for something different. They did go for something different. AZ, of course, a little bit with the safety car. Rain not also fully hitting as well, but Klavenbach needed to go for something different. The gamble did pay off for him, and he ends up still scoring more points than all of his rivals and everyone, bar Angelo. But of course, Angelo has not got a chance for the title, only recently promoted from PCF3 as well.
Certainly a mission statement to make is that you have a story like that and then you come all the way through and take the race as you have done here in Belgium. I don't know. I don't believe it's looking like, at least, that we are going to get a chance to talk to any of our drivers. There is, of course, discussions happening, but they are in the F2 chat, and some of them do not bear repeating for the broadcast. Let's say that. So there, of course, say some highlights, some lowlights for some. Like, for instance, Harvey Cohen. I do believe this was a race to forget for them. They struggled a little bit in quali. They, of course, had the issue early on, and many others also got caught up in the crossfire of a couple of collisions. And to the TF10 member who popped in for the chat, or popped into the race lobby for 10 seconds, I'm sure the team is very proud of you. But with that said, we are going to be looking to the rest of the calendar. Monza is going to be next up, followed by Qatar, say Losail Circuit, and finishing off, of course, where else could it be? Interlagos. What a season this has been so far, though.
Well, one of the best PSGL PCF this season's coming to a close in what should be probably one of the most craziest races at Brazil. It's going to be a wild race, that is for sure, and it will be a great way to end off what has been a brilliant season of PCF2. But we've still got 3 rounds. We've got 2 rounds before we get to Brazil. We've got Monza, which should be very exciting. Same can be said about Qatar. Wow, we've got some 3 amazing races to end this season. Cannot wait for next week.
And I cannot wait either. But for now, we are going to take our leave from the commentary box. We are going to get ourselves, of course, prepped for next time out. Of course, just in case you forgot, we do have many people who work in the wings to make this possible, some of which being the major sponsors that we are very lucky to have as part of PSGL. GT Omega Sim Racing Centre. Support the people who support us. Use code PSGL for a healthy discount at checkout. And as we sign off in the commentary box, we wanted to thank you in the audience for watching us this evening. We hope you have enjoyed the racing throughout the entire season. And if you love what we do, be sure to give the stream some support, some likes, and also subscribe if you want to see more from us. And whether it's here, F4, E-Series, PCF1, the one and only, or anything else beyond that we do here in PSGL, if you want to get involved, of course, it's the YouTube channel. It's the Twitch channel as well. For those of you watching on Twitch, we thank you very much for watching. And with the Discord, if you want to get more involved and potentially become a racer yourself, be the next talent. And with that being said, folks, we are going to say goodbye. We will see you on Monza. And for now, good night.